ladies and gentlemen, the Phillies Untitled Hotline is back. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Untitled Media. Today we're going to be having another episode of the Phillies Untitled Hotline. It's been quite a while. And I guess before getting into this video, please subscribe if you haven't not yet. Please turn on the notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. This video is also brought to you by All Things Phillies. All Things Phillies are times a daily video of highlights from the game. So please go subscribe to his channel. Link in the description section. It's a shame that this Phillies team hasn't had a chance to redeem himself after that devastating 8-7 loss against the Mets on Thursday night, right? They have not had their chance to redeem themselves. It's just really a shame, right? This terrible weather up here in the Northeast just been awful, right? It's just been unbearable, right? It's just, oh my goodness gracious, I don't think anybody likes this. It's non-stop rain. So this Phillies Untitled Hotline is finally back. So it took quite a while off, right? I mean, I think it's been like since October or something like that. Since we had an episode of the Phillies Untitled Hotline, but it is finally back. I mean, not a whole lot of activity this week. I just think it's because it's been so dormant just for so long. Hopefully this will encourage more people to call in next time. If you want to be on Phillies Untitled Media, you could call 267-225-3092. Again, 267-225-3092. You can find us all in the description section. Call, leave a voicemail, wait to hear the tone, state your question and or opinion about any Phillies topic. You can go and send me a voice memo of yourself talking. Same thing, state your name, where you're calling from or recording from, state your question and or opinion on any Phillies topic. And you can email that voice memo to philliesuntilledmedia@gmail.com. If you do not feel comfortable having your voice on the show, you can type it out to 267-225-3092. You can email it to me, philliesuntilledmedia@gmail.com. You can DM me on Instagram, philliesuntilledmedia or Harper Fanatics. Or you can DM me on Twitter at photstillmedia. You can find us all in the description section. So same thing with the typing. Just state your name, where you're texting from, general location. Does not have to be a precise location, but just give me your question or opinion about any Phillies topic to appear on the show. So now, without any further ado, let's jump into our first and only voicemail of the day. Of course, we got plenty of written questions about the Phils. We're gonna go to Kurt in South Jersey. So Kurt, take it away, my friend.
Hi, this is Kurt calling in from South Jersey. What do you make of Harper's struggle so far this year?
Well, thank you so much for calling in. That's a very interesting point, right? We do have the reigning NL MVP on our team. And unfortunately, he just hasn't been producing. I mean, an average it sits at around the low 240s, and the on-base percentage just isn't there. One thing you have to keep in mind is that he's dealing with the right elbow strain right now. He's not 100% healthy, and that really does affect the way you play the game. So he has an excuse. You can't go out there and say, oh, he doesn't have an excuse. He has an excuse. I'm not saying that you said that, but you have to give this guy a little bit of a break. We all know what he's capable of. We saw it last year. We saw it in 2015. So we all know what this guy is capable of doing. Good night the other night on Thursday night. But I understand he has struggled overall to start this year. But he's usually, a couple times his career in 2016, the first month was very good for him. But usually he's not the most hot coming out of the gate. He's just not. I mean, usually maybe the first week he's hot, but usually around this time in his career, every year, he's really not setting the world on fire. So he usually takes a little while to get going. But this is definitely a rough start for Harper. It's definitely a rough start for him. We cannot forget, as I said, right elbow strain. He's not 100% healthy. I mean, it's been a while. It's almost been a month since he did on that throw to home plate. So it's hard to believe it's still bothering him. But I mean, no question. The doctor said there's been no change. They looked at him the other day. The doctor said there's been no change in Harper's elbow strain. So it's still there. It's still, nagging him to the point where he cannot go out there and play right field. And it's certainly affecting his playing ability. But as goes for the walks and getting on base, I mean, that's incredibly disappointing. And that's hard to make more of an excuse for that aspect. So I don't doubt that at all. As we go to Cody from New Jersey, my question is, do you think the Phillies will make the postseason this year? I mean, it's really hard to say. It's such a long season. We're only through the first 26 games. We got a long way to go. I mean, of course, this is a 162-game season. We're only through the first 26 games. But certainly what I've seen so far, I'm not real impressed. I'm not real impressed. It seems like it's a common theme with this Phillies team over the past 4 to 5 years. When the offense shows up, the pitching doesn't show up. When the pitching shows up, the offense doesn't show up. And it's clear as day. It is clear as day. So we saw it on Thursday night. The offense showed up. Guess what? The pitching staff didn't show up. We saw in the Texas Rangers series, especially the finale game. The offense didn't show up. Guess what? The pitching staff showed up. It's just such a common theme with this Phillies team. I feel like we have so much talent as a roster to be so good and so competitive. You can have all the potential in the world and still be terrible. I mean, potential means nothing at the end of the day. Potential, really, in a sense, means nothing. I'm tired of hearing that this team has potential and it could be good. I'm tired of it. I mean, let's see the results. Certainly with the expanded playoffs, this is going to help the Phillies' chances of making the postseason. But it's definitely not a guarantee. I would love to see this team make the postseason. I would love to see this team make the postseason. But is it going to be done? I don't know. It's really, really hard to say because the Phillies, I thought they had it in the bag of 2020, right? The 16-team postseason, and they couldn't even get in that. Granted, that was a 60-game season. This is a longer season than that. Quite longer, considerably longer, much, much longer. They couldn't do it then. They always find a way, it seems, to mess it up. Who knows? Who knows with this team? This team is so unpredictable. Who knows? I don't know, but I certainly don't like what I've seen so far. So a lot of, things we've seen over the past 4 years with this team being very, very inconsistent. Different faces, but same results. Different faces, but same results. As we go to Ethan here from Sewell, New Jersey, he left an opinion here. He says, unbelievable. We are a month into the baseball season, and most, quote, Phillies fans, unquote, are already saying, quote, I'm over baseball this year. I'm in Eagles mode now, unquote. I swear I'm so tired of the disloyalty from people who claim to be Phillies fans. That's an interesting point. I think all fan bases have, the diehards and the casual fans. People like Ethan and I are diehard baseball fans, but I think you're going to see that in all fan bases. I don't really think that's too uncommon. I understand your frustration that some folks, are, really, jumping on the bandwagon to start this year, and now they kind of bailed out. And, that's their personal choice. If they choose to do that, then that's fine by me. I'm not going to do that. That's just my opinion. I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm going to watch this team no matter what. The casual baseball fan just isn't going to do that. They're just going to turn to something else. If the team isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing and it's not performing up to the way they think they should, they're just going to turn it off. And I think that is completely reasonable. But I don't really think that that's too abnormal. I don't really think that that's unreasonable. I understand your frustration, though. You feel that this fan base isn't being loyal to their team. I can guarantee you there's plenty of loyal Phillies fans loyal to the team, going out there every single day. Guys like the Fandemic crew, no matter what, they're homers, right? No matter what. I think I'm a homer. This thing, I'm just very objective, though. I feel like I kind of just, when I see something I don't like, I say it. So I'm a homer to a certain point. And of course, I consider myself a huge diehard fan, but I'm definitely a homer, no question. But other than that, I don't really think I'm overly biased. I just really, really don't. I think I'm very, very objective, to be honest with you. But every fan base is going to have the casuals and the diehards. So I definitely think that is normal. Another question here. This is the second to last one of the day, and it is coming from Jason from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So he is asking, how do you see the Phillies handling the West Coast road trip next week? So that's a very, very good question. This is going to be really just a brutal road trip. The Phillies, first of all, they don't play well on the road. There's a lot of factors here. They don't play well on the road, and they especially do not play well out on the West Coast. So we go and face the Seattle Mariners for that 3-game series. Of course, they're floating around 500 at 12-15 right now, but who knows how they're going to do out there. In the Los Angeles Dodgers, that is going to be the killer, right? A 4-game series. A team they have not played well against in recent history. A stadium in Dodger Stadium they have not played well in with the recent history. So it's going to be a very difficult task. Honestly, this is really going to sound bad, but I honestly would just be content with like a 2-5 road trip, honestly. Because this is just going to be a brutal road trip for this Phillies team. I could totally see them going 2-5. Honestly, I'm just hoping that we don't get swept out in LA. Hopefully we can win the series out in Seattle. That would be huge. But this is just not a good way to head into this West Coast road trip. You get swept out by the Texas Rangers, a team you should have swept, and then you have the heartbreaking loss against the New York Mets on Thursday night. You get rained out these 2 games. We're going to have a doubleheader tomorrow. It's starting at 12:35. So this Phillies team has just had a rough go of it. It really, really has, and it doesn't really look like things are going to get any better as of now. In the short term, looking at the short term of things, it just doesn't really look like things are going to be getting better anytime soon. Unfortunately, I just hate to say it. but it's just true. As we go to our final question of the day, a lot of text messages today, a lot of these, not many voicemails. We got a question here from Mike from Albany, New York, and he's asking, do you think that the Mets are overrated? That's a very good question. I certainly think they have a very capable roster. Overrated, maybe a little bit. I mean, I just don't really know how that team's going to hold up down the stretch. I mean, Max Scherzer, I mean, he's a GOAT. I mean, he's performing at a very, very high level, but how much longer can he keep this going? I mean, this is an older baseball team. Mets are just a weird team to me because they're getting older. I mean, they really are. They have a lot of veterans on their team. Guys like Starling Marte, I mean, Alvaro Escobar. He's not old, but I mean, he's definitely not young. Mark Cannon, another guy, not old, but definitely not young. Just kind of a weird situation over there. Also, a guy that's, not old yet, but I mean, he's definitely not young at all. Getting in his mid-30s now, and he's had a lot of injury problems. So I just don't know. I mean, Edwin Diaz, can you really count on the guy in the back end at the closer spot? I mean, the bullpen's definitely good over there. For them, they haven't really had a whole lot of injuries so far this year, but it always seems to come back and bite them. I don't know. I'm going to say as of now, I mean, maybe a tad, but I don't think they're incredibly overrated. I still think they have a very capable roster over there. I mean, Brandon Nimmo, one of the most underrated players in the game, Francisco Lindor, who I think is overrated, but I mean, he's still, well above average shortstop. I believe he's overrated. I mean, he's not terrible. He's not bad. I mean, he's good. I don't think he's worth 340. But I definitely think he's, one of the best shortstops in the game. I just think he's overrated. I don't think this how good they say he is. I mean, he's definitely not worth $340 million. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You got Pete Alonso, a guy that just hits home runs, but that's okay for a team like the New York Mets. You got Jeff McNeil, who puts the ball in play a lot. Definitely have a capable roster, but then maybe just be a little tad overrated. So that will do it for this week's episode of Phillies Sensitive Hotline. I don't know if it's going to be every other week. It depends on how many voicemails we get, but if you'd like to call in, 267-225-392. Record yourself with the voice memo app, send it to phillieshandsmedia@gmail.com, all in the description section. You don't feel comfortable having your voice on here, you can just type it out, text it to 267-225-392, email it to phillieshandsmedia@gmail.com, DM it to @phillieshandsmedia or @HarborFanatics, or you can send it to the Twitter DM @PianstoMedia. So 12:35, the first pitch. Tomorrow afternoon, a single mission doubleheader, as there is not going to be a set second game time start. So I don't know. It's probably going to get the two recaps out back to back, as there's not been a determined starting pitcher for both of the games tomorrow. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on the notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, check out the social media link in the description section @PhilliesHotsToveMedia, Instagram, follow me on Twitter @PHotStoveMedia. Call or text 267-225-3392. Email me, phillieshandsmedia@gmail.com. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Luke, and I will talk to you all later. Let's go Phillies. I'll see you guys.